Rocking an aluminum body, these trucks hide a dirty little secret.
Your aluminum-bodied Ford still has a steel frame, and if you want to stop it from looking like this,
Then 10 years of ownership. Heavy set rust that's going to rot away and cause you to have to work on your frame or potentially scrap your vehicle.
this is everything you need to know about rust-proofing and protecting your aluminum-bodied Ford pickup. Let's get right into it. Welcome to Hi-Ho Stable Garage. Now, you don't need a lift for this, but obviously we're doing it on a lift so you guys can see a lot better where these problematic areas are. But let's get right into it. I can show you where this guy rusts out.
So, front differential, engine, transmission, drive shaft, fuel tank, all that stuff. That's the back axle of the truck for reference. It all looks shiny and black because we used a wool wax type product, and it's black when it dries, and it's not dry. Again, undercoat, traditional undercoat, is a hard base. Rust proofing is wet all the time, and it's self-healing because of that.
When you rust proof, you don't have to have the frame 100% rust free. You don't even have to have it nice looking. It can be flaky. Basically, that rust proofing is going to saturate and penetrate down to the bottom rust flake, which in turn is basically encapsulating the rust and stopping the chemical reaction which causes the rust. So you can keep a rusty vehicle longer by rust proofing it. If you want to do a traditional undercoat, like a hard-based or an asphalt style, I don't recommend it really, but if you want to, immaculate is what you want to do because it will chip, it won't self-heal, and then rust, moisture, whole bunch of contaminants can get underneath, rot it, and you will never see it, and then one day it will just fall on the ground. But I digress. Let's look at the pieces on what you want to protect on your aluminum-bodied Ford.
Starting from the front, all the tube work. This is your front cross member, engine cradle, power steering, where it attaches. This beam right here is a box tube. Dirt gets in, doesn't come out, holds moisture and rust. Blow out all the dirt from this guy and undercoat them. Same as your A-arms. These A-arms are built to be replaced, but that doesn't mean that you have to. You can always put new bushings in them. If they're in good shape, keep them going. Get inside these holes, blow them out, and undercoat them. Rust-proof them from the inside out. The outside doesn't really matter, but that's what people like to see because it stays nice and black. But the inside is what will actually rot away your frame, your cross members, your tubular structure, all that stuff. Clean your insides, undercoat, rust-proof your insides, and it will keep your parts almost forever. Now, specific to these Ford trucks are going to be your transmission coolant lines. The best way that I found to protect them is to spray them with a rust proofing. It will coat them, keep them alive a lot longer. They go all the way to the back. And if they're not been updated to the stainless steel variant, eventually they'll rust right through and you'll lose all your transmission fluid and potentially blow that guy up. This area right here, where it goes from there, snakes down, and ends where this little tiny arrow, see if I can get to it, there you go, arrow is. This is the most rust-prone area on these trucks, in my opinion. Now, Ford tried their best, and they added a relief hole here and a small notch here, but this whole area from there to the transmission cross member has no escape holes. So any dirt and moisture that get in through any of the holes from the front frame horn when you're driving is getting pushed all the way to here, and eventually the pressure isn't enough to keep it pushing and it will collect here. It will rot this frame from the inside out right here. Now is the time to protect it. Get an air gun in here and blow that way or blow that way. It really doesn't matter as long as you get it out, and you will be absolutely surprised at the amount of dirt and mud and everything that comes out of there. This area right here, that's where it collects. Undercoat that guy from the inside when it's all cleaned, and you'll never have to worry about it as long as you maintain your undercoat once a year. I live in a pretty crazy, salty environment. They use a calcium chloride solution. So every winter, touch up your undercoat. It's 100% worth it. And then you can undercoat it again in April, and that does you for the entire year. But winter time here, we do undercoating on the entire vehicle again. Much like the front, where it dips down in the frame, this is where it dips up. The exact same thing happens. It collects really bad right here. Again, the only drain hole is there all the way to here for the bottom. So you get lots of accumulation of dirt, moisture, everything inside there. Blow that guy out, undercoat him from within. That's with a small hose, an undercoat gun, small can, whatever. But you want to get inside the frame rail. The outside doesn't really matter so much. That's just cosmetic. The inside is where this guy is going to rot through.
Now, I know what you're going to say. Colt, what about these running boards? They rotted right off my 2013, and I don't blame you. Running boards to a body on a lot of pickups simply just fall off in rusty climates. Basically because it rots out the rocker panel, and the rocker panel is always one of the first things to go. So off goes your running board. On these aluminum body Fords, Ford was smart, and the actual bracket that bolts to the aluminum running board is aluminum. So it's an aluminum contact, and then your actual running board piece is a chrome plated steel. So you can get the bolts where it meets the aluminum here to here. The only part you would have to worry about is your chrome running board coming off your brackets if it gets older, but you're not going to have to worry about it too bad.
Now we're getting into the good stuff. Again, this has already been undercoated, but I can show you. This guy, Ford learned a lot. It's a through pipe now, a through box tube to the other side. When you wash your truck, you'll see it here. Wash through that so it sprays on the other side. Clean all that out from dirt and debris, because it will sit right here in the middle where that exhaust hanger is. Another thing Ford learned for their leaf springs is this guy right here is angled down. Before, it used to be capped flat, and it would hold moisture, dirt, rust, etc. rot right out. Now the rust has nowhere to build up, basically, so off she comes down. You can undercoat everything, mind you. You don't have to just undercoat the problematic areas, but you don't have to worry so much about these areas like you used to on the old truck. So now we're at the back of the truck by the spare tire. One of the other problematic areas is right here above the bump stop. Same idea, it's a very flat panel, not a lot of relief going down. Stuff will build up in here and rot it from within. Mudding, dirt, sand, all that stuff builds up moisture and rots it from within. Undercoat it, spray it out, get all that debris out. Trust me, there's debris in there. Then undercoat it, rust proof it, and you'll be set. Ford tried their best with these rear leaf spring perches, but it's a rear leaf spring perch at the end of the day. There's a hole here, and a big hole here for relief, for debris, such as such. But I can tell you for sure that when I cleaned this guy out, the very top right here was caked with old mud, old mud. Inside, caked with mud. Blow all that out, undercoat that. Make sure it doesn't rust from within, or else you'll end up like an old F-350. Your front shock towers are no better. They hold a lot of moisture and dirt at the very top and inside that triangle. Blow them out, get your undercoat gun, rust proofing gun in there. You won't have to worry about it. Ford bumpers are terrible for their chrome plating and it rusting from inside out. You can undercoat your bumpers, because these are all steel, all the way across. That's on our list today, and it will kind of help out with this rust that comes in. Peels off your chrome plating, and then it flakes all out. That goes for the front bumper too. As you can see, the bumper brackets and the bottom chrome rail of the bumper itself holds a lot of moisture. Blow that all out. You can undercoat the inside of your bumper. It won't hurt anything. Same as the tube.
Now, as for the rest of the body of the truck, talking about the aluminum body itself, you don't have to worry as much with the aluminum for rusting. Aluminum corrodes, especially when it's against a steel or a different type of metal, a different type of alloy. But you don't have to worry so much about the corrosion, especially if the aluminum's plated. Most of the aluminum on this truck is either painted or plated, underneath being no exception. It's not going to hurt the aluminum body by adding the undercoat, plus it's already roughed up enough that it will stick fine. As for box ribs, box rails, cab mounts, etc., if it's not steel, you don't have to do them. I'm going to do them just for peace of mind, but aluminum doesn't have the same characteristics as steel for rust. It corrodes a different way. But if we can still keep the oxygen from getting at it and adding that film of corrosion, adding that surface layer, we're always going to be better. So I'm going to choose to undercoat rust-proof the body and everywhere I can see.
All right, so this is it touched up. As you can see, not too bad. Got all the important bits that I talked about in the video. So here, there, there. Like the back spring hangers. Inside the frame above the bump stop. Front spring hangers. The hollow section right here. The hollow section beside your catalytic converter. The other side as well. All my tube steel. And inside my control arm.
Now I hope you guys learned something in this video. I'm going to take this Ford down and hit the road. But hopefully this helps you guys rust-proof your aluminum-bodied Fords. And just remember, just because it's aluminum doesn't mean that the frame is. The frame can still rot out on you, and the body can still corrode if you're not careful. I'll catch you guys in the next one really, really soon. See you guys.